Reimagining Success, episode 265. You're listening to the Reimagining Success podcast, where we help you design a business and a life that allows you freedom from the 9 to 5. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg, ex-corporate good girl, now a business mentor and coach, author, mum of 2, and I'm here to help you create more freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. Now let's get started with redefining success outside of the 9 to 5. So one of my biggest insights since embarking, on this personal and professional development journey, I guess I would trace it back to when I left my corporate marketing job back in 2013, which is now 10 years ago. But I've always been interested in personal development and wondering what life is all about. I studied philosophy at university. I always asked lots of curious, impossible questions, my mum would say, when I was younger. I was interested in careers, and in fact, I was the careers and academic affairs officer at uni. And I loved all those different tests and quizzes you did when you're younger. I was always wondering what's next. And one of the things I've learned, the biggest insight, is that you need to know what you want and why before you start figuring out the how. And that's very empowering, and it's all well and good to say that, but what if you don't know the what? What if you don't know what's next? And that's a really scary but also exciting moment, because it means you get to figure that out, right? But it's something that I think, especially when we've been on the same track for a really long time, and that goes for, me and my corporate career, but actually, ironically now, it also applies to having been working kind of the same kind of business for a number of years, so it's not just about quitting a particular job. It can happen at different moments in your life. It can happen when your personal circumstances change, you get married, you get divorced, you have children, you can't have children, your children move out of the nest, and so on, right? There are lots of pivotal moments when you suddenly go, oh, now what? And so I want to give you 3 tangible exercises that you can have a go at doing. It is hard to do by yourself, this kind of reflection, and that's why it's powerful to work with a coach, to have that sounding board, to have someone objective asking you, probing, and doing much more than I can give you in just a few minutes today. But I do want to give you exercises, and these have been so powerful to me and to my clients in the years gone by, and I come back to these again and again as well. And the first one is the push-pull exercise. So there are reasons, and I've talked about this in the context of push out of the corporate 9 to 5 and then pull towards something else. But there are reasons why you don't want to do what you're doing right now. And those reasons are negatively phrased, positioned, right? I don't want to keep doing this commute or work these hours. I don't like the toxic work culture. There's a bad boss. My values are not aligned with this company. The hours don't work. Some people work with both, if we're in the UK here, you're working both with Asia and America, and suddenly you're working, 24/7. The stress, the burnout, those are the push reasons why you don't want to do this, whatever this is, anymore. It could be that you're just too comfortable. You haven't grown. You haven't challenged yourself in a while. You're so comfortable, you know how things work, and it's not exciting anymore. You're not growing anymore. So those are the push reasons. And then on the other side, you have the pull reasons, and that's harder, but it's also more exciting. It's, I want more freedom and autonomy, more flexibility, work-life balance, integration, and as I would call it, time with family. I want to make a bigger difference. I want to fulfill a lifelong dream of doing X, Y, Z, or I maybe even have an exciting idea, something very tangible of what I want to do. If that's the case, maybe you don't need this episode, but there are things pulling you towards something else. So as the first exercise, I'd encourage you to sort of sit with this question, and you can even do, I love a bit of, pros and cons and that kind of thing, but just draw a line on your piece of paper, a vertical line to separate the 2 halves of the paper, and put push on the top left and then pull on the right. And then maybe set yourself a timer, 2 minutes, write down all the things you don't want. And then 2-minute timer, write all the things on the pull side of the things that you do want. So that's the push-pull reasons. And that may already be pretty enlightening in terms of, even just having that piece of paper in your wallet on the wall, taking that with you to job interviews or when you're thinking of the next step in your business, what clients you want to work with and not work with and so on. Knowing what you do and don't want can actually already give you some pretty good guiding principles. So that's exercise 1, push-pull. The second one is your values, and it's one of my favorite exercises ever. I did it as one of the first ever exercises when I started training as a coach. My Greek peer coach gave it to me as an exercise. She gave me a list of values, and I think that's an interesting way of doing it. You just kind of look at a list and take the words that pop out at you. I quite like the organic approach also of just kind of going, okay, what's important to me? What are my values? Because that can come up with, you don't want to be too influenced by, if I say to you, and now I'm going to do it anyway, if I say to you certain words, adventure, freedom, and so on, then you might get kind of led down that particular direction. So before I even say any words, try to really think blank slate, grab a pen and paper. What are your core values? And it's really, it needs to be a judgment-free zone, and that's why I'm reluctant to even tell you what mine are, or say them, because I may say them in a particular tone of voice. Obviously, there are certain things like freedom that I value a lot, and probably you do too. But somebody might value power or professionalism. Someone else might value generosity, creativity. I'm trying to keep a flat tone of voice, so I'm not adding any judgment, because the point is, you don't, no one's going to see this, by the way. If we work together, obviously I would see it, but it's fully confidential. You don't have to choose things that you think you should choose. If prosperity and significance and, I don't know, I'm trying to, leadership, finance, whatever, if those are important to you, then those are important to you. If it's spiritualism, if it's self-respect, grace, gratitude, justice, that doesn't matter what other people think of those things. They're important to you. So the exercise is to have those kind of guiding principles, values of knowing, well, no, family is a core value. Family first. I'm always going to be loyal to my family, and that's going to take precedence over any job or even perhaps friendship, even, external obligations and so on, right? So that's just something that will really help you to decide going forwards, and to use a metaphor of juggling balls, to decide which balls that you can drop or have to drop, because the other ones are kind of non-negotiable and really cannot and must not be dropped. So it can be powerful, and there are other things we can do to kind of dig deeper into this together, but thinking back at momentous occasions in your life and understanding what were the values that were driving you there, both positive highlights and the negative, because that will really highlight sorry to use the word highlight twice in different senses, but that will really bring to light what values are important to you, and what perhaps needs to be more present in your life. So that's the values exercise. So first is push-pull, second is values. And again, just literally grab a pen and paper, maybe 3 minutes on this timer, just write down the words. You can find lists online, but it doesn't matter if, you don't have to worry about the semantics. Is this value, is not value? The point is it's important to you, and it's kind of a guiding principle. I usually say, I think 3, to be honest. I may be biased because 3 is my lucky number, up to 5. More than that, and it becomes, just a shopping list of I value everything. And it needs to be specific enough to actually guide your decisions, to be clear that I value this and not that, for example, or this is my priority over that. So that's the values. And then the final exercise, and it'll be familiar to you if you've been part of my community, but it's this idea of balance and holistic success. And it's considering the different areas of your life. And so it's not just what do I want from my career, it's what's important to me more broadly. Meaning, I have my 5 L's. If you've in any way done coaching before, some people, and this is the original tool that I use, have the wheel of life, where you divide your life into finances and family and so on. I like my version. It's a bit simpler and higher level, but it's in a similar vein to really consider those different areas of your life. And so the first one is live. That's your wellness, your health, well-being. The second one is love, relationships, belonging. That could be romance, it could be friendship, family, community. So live, love, learn is your development, your growth, challenging yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, learning new things. The fourth L is lead, which is, yes, your work. So career, business, the impact you're making, the legacy you're leaving, the difference you're making. And then the final L is laugh, fun, spontaneity, the things that give you joy in your life. So this exercise, you can write down those 5 L's: live, love, learn, lead, laugh. And then you can reflect on both. Number one, you can give yourself a score from 0 to 10 of where you are on that particular L. So if you feel you haven't been taking care of your mental or physical health very much, then obviously you can give yourself a lower score there. If you feel that you haven't been growing and developing, if you feel you haven't been progressing in your career or making the difference you want to make, you can give yourself a lower score there. And even just that simple exercise of scoring those areas, it's far more nuanced than that, of course, but that will give you a sense of, oh, wow, I've really neglected my health or my family and friendships. And actually that needs more attention. So those are the 3 exercises when you don't know what's next. And the first one is the push and pull. That can really guide you on, okay, this is what I don't want, as well as, okay, I want more of these things. Secondly, then your values, having 3, 4, 5 values are going to guide your decisions going forwards. Valuing family, friendship, compassion, kindness gives you a very different direction to valuing power, wealth, innovation and abundance, spiritualism, humanity, connection, grace. You can see just randomly putting those names together how different that could be for you moving forwards. And then the final exercise was the 5 L's. I do have a resource and I'll talk about it in the outro as well, but the 5 L's success assessment, I call it, or life assessment, however you want to think of it. It's a little quiz of those 5 L's to ask yourself, check in where you are in each of those areas. So you can do just the, quick score out of 10, as I just said, or you can use this PDF resource as a guide to work through those questions as well. So I hope you find those exercises useful and very tangible things you can do. If you're really feeling completely lost and, flying too free, it happens. And whether you're thinking of leaving a job, you've been made redundant, you've been in your business for too long and you kind of lost your way a bit, and this can really help you to get back to basics and understand what matters to you, what you want, what you don't want, and hopefully get you moving forwards again towards a new and exciting destination. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Explore a broader definition of success with my free assessment to consider what success really means to you across different areas of your life. Evaluate where you are today and prioritise the right goals to get you to where you want to be. Get your copy at onestepoutside.com/success. That's onestepoutside.com/success.